In response of theme of observation, Yana observed a motorcycle which was parked in the Melbourne city. She made photos of it from different animations where Yana experimented with abstract objects and their communication with each other in background. Here Yana created a playground which transferred from an active environment to active environment care. This is such a nice day to talk about strawberry milkshake. Strawberry milkshake contains
Reference archive object, I created the stop-motion surreal animation. My animation includes an abstract camera Polaroid, which appears from the piece of plasticine and start to print projects that were not animated. Those pictures I made look like Polaroid photos and printed them. They go out from the plasticine camera with the sound of printer. Then a surreal video camera with a screen appears. It translates the animated works which were done throughout of the semester. The third object is a loudspeaker. It appears when we hear siren or music. Overall, all sounds in my archive object are being visualized. For example, when project is broadcasting, there is a voice describing a project, and with every new phrase we can observe as strips of plasticine appearing one after another, which look like appearing of titles. There are also buttons on the video camera. They reflect the voice by going up and down. I chose such a concept because I'm very much into making a new surreal forms, and majority of my weekly responses were created in such style and with this approach. Moreover, I'm in love with the stop-motion animation, which provides me an opportunity to create my objects immediately in volume, colored, and experiment with forms in every direction. This is documentation of the process of my work. I started with a pencil test animation in Adobe Animate to analyze how forms are going to appear, how to make morphing smoother and more appealing. I was pretty much satisfied with my test animation, but wasn't quite sure that I'm able to recreate it in stop motion. After that, I started a preparation. I have watched YouTube videos how to adjust the light and set up a workplace for the stop motion animation, bought two lamps, but unfortunately this lighting still wasn't good enough and it affected the quality. However, my next step was modeling, which I love to do. Although there were a few tricky moments, I'm pretty glad with the design of the cameras and speaker. When I finished animation, I started to edit it and work on sound. Firstly, I added easy diegetic sounds like sounds of printing and siren. And then I started to think about voiceover, and firstly I made it very abstract and surrealistic, recorded me talking on non-existent language. After consultation with Max, I realized that it creates dissonance with the image, so I started to think about alternative sounds. I chose to add a voiceover, which will sound like radio and tries to explain the concept of the project, but it can be heard only with visual translation, so this radio voice appears not everywhere and interacts most of the times. For make my voice sound like an old man voice, I use change in voice application. This is an object for the theme observation. For this week I've done few fast sketches which Polaroid camera is going to print. We can hear the radio that tries to talk about this project. With the voice plasticine strips appear. Those are animation for the theme tinkering, where I experimented with abstract objects that will leave in the frame and returning back. Those animations are shown on the video camera, and the picture with onion skin is printed from the Polaroid. These time buttons reflect on voice, they going up and down. Then goes my response for sim find an object, and as it's not a very successful response, and I agree with Max in this, that project is banned. TV refuses to show it, the voice speaker appears, and we can hear a siren. Next object is for weak discussion of the place, where a playground becomes an active environment character. As this is an illustration, camera Polaroid prints it with a radio description, and we can see a visualized voice from the radio again. Next theme is a topic object-oriented ontology, where the final work is a milky radio, which is constantly drinking strawberry milkshake and broadcasting only information about it. In the archive object, our radio is also changes and suddenly starts to talk about milkshake with adoration and madness. Second topic is time. And the response for this theme was an animation about backwards fictive time. In this animation, I explored the relationship between object, time, and place, and took from the pancakes all products and chain of events. As it is my first animation where I edit an easy track, during broadcasting of it on the camera screen, the loudspeaker comes and the music is going from it also as plasticine strips. Next theme is a character, place, and events, and this is my first trial of stop motion animation. I wanted to show that the environment forms a character, and through this influence on character's actions, later a character affects the environment. In the archive object, we can see that the main character himself comes to take a printed picture of him and his friend. The last topic is force, where I created the rules for myself and used only arrows, ovals, and broken glass. The camera prints a poster and screen shows an animation. In the end, strips, which were standing and holding, fall dramatically because cameras are sad about the end of broadcast and the end of semester. When first time I heard about an archive object, honestly I was crazy scared, as I thought that something interesting for that you can make only in the interactive game format, in the area where I have no skills yet, and I had a creativity block for a while, thinking about safe options. Then using tinkering, thought by thought, step by step, I found the concept, connected with my favorite technique, and without a fear I created many complex steps for realizing it. I'm so glad that I found a way to become relaxed, fearless, and playful with this project, and I'm absolutely sure that it wouldn't happen if I hadn't taken this course. As I wrote before, CPS is like a psychotherapy in the creativity world, and I'm inspired with every topic. I think everything we have been through were extremely beneficial. Every theme is valuable. Thanks a lot for this incredible experience.